was just looking at, I got some papers on my desk at home, and I think I'm going to do my taxes this weekend. It's pretty early, but I like to get it out of the way as quickly as I can. I don't want it hanging over my head.
Yeah, you're an early bird, no doubt. Good for you.
Well, there's also worry, you know, as more people get into the filing season, there are more scams that end up showing up, and, you know, you do everything online nowadays, and so there's always a worry about that kind of thing.
I've got a tip. Never do your taxes at a gun range.
No.
Yeah, that's probably a good idea.
Don't do it. You know, people like to go out and shoot and everything.
Yeah.
Just don't do them there.
Not there.
Bad idea.
Maybe anywhere else, honestly.
Better ideas come from Chris Wilbratte. He's with Echelon Financial. Chris, thank you so much for your time this morning.
Good morning. Glad to be here.
Why is tax season such a great time for scammers?
Well, because, you know, people are working on a deadline. Nobody likes to deal with taxes. And, you know, taxes are a very, emotional and scary issue because nobody wants to hear from the IRS. And so what they do is they'll pose as the IRS. They'll do phishing scams, text scams. They'll have those drop voicemails where your phone rings once, and then there's a voicemail with somebody claiming they're from the IRS and that you owe taxes and that they're going to garnish your wages or confiscate your bank accounts. And that's usually a pretty strong motivator to put people in a panic.
Right. And so what can we do as consumers? Because like Ernie said, so many of us do our taxes online. We do them ourselves. What do we need to watch out for? Because the Better Business Bureau is warning of these. Well, they're pretty common, but I guess unless you're really brushing up on this, you wouldn't know what's common. So talk to us about that.
The first is more prevention. I have three suggestions. The first two are preventative. First, just know that the IRS will never send you an email. They'll never send you a text, and they'll never call you. The only way they communicate with you is by mail. So the second thing is to be aware that there are some scammers that will set up a storefront at a retail center, and they'll offer like really cheap prices to do your tax return, like $99. The people will go in, they'll give them their information, and they'll file a return with an inflated refund. They'll steal the refund, and then once they have your Social Security number, you can bet they're off to the races to applying for credit cards and everything else. But the most important thing you can do to protect yourself is to apply for a PIN with the IRS. And so when you have a PIN, anytime someone goes to file your tax return, they have to have that PIN. If they try to file your tax return without the PIN, the IRS will reject it immediately. So that's the best way to protect yourself.
It's hard enough to get yourself to write that check if you owe every year. Now you got to worry about this kind of thing.
Absolutely, absolutely. And, you know, when people are busy with work and family, you know, they see the IRS logo, they see that they might be in trouble with the IRS and no taxes. It's easy to make a quick emotional decision and click on that link, and they count on that.
All right, we're talking live right now with Chris Wilbratte with Echelon Financial.
Chris, one thing before we get out of here. I've been audited 3 times, and I won 1, lost 2. No big deal. No big deal. But I think the IRS should not send out letters that begin with greetings.
I agree with you. I agree. That is great. Yes.
Thank you, Chris.
That does take a few people back.
It takes you by surprise, I'm telling you. Yes,
All right, Chris Wilbratte with Echelon Financial. Thank you, Chris. We appreciate your time today.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Right.